Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something called the Intention/Competence Gap. And trust me, it's a simple idea that might just unlock why even our best relationships can feel so frustrating sometimes. It all kicks off with a question I think we've all asked ourselves.
Think about it. We have more stuff, more comfort, more opportunities than at any other point in history. So, why is there still so much tension and unhappiness, especially with the people we love most? The answer we're going to explore today is fascinating, and it suggests the problem has nothing to do with what we have.
So let's just jump right in and try to get to the root of this frustration. Why is it that even when we mean well, our most important relationships can feel like such hard work, so full of conflict?
And this quote, man, it just hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's not some huge life-altering crisis. It's a tiny, everyday disagreement that somehow just explodes into a constant battle. So what's really the issue here? Okay, so here's the crucial point. We often try to patch up emotional holes with physical things. We buy nicer gifts, we go on bigger vacations. But the idea here is that the real problem is a lack of feeling. It's something happening on the inside, not the outside. And to really get that, we need to first look at how we're made. All right. This brings us to a really core concept for understanding all of this. It's the idea that each of us is a coexistence of two totally different things, the self and the body.
Just think of it like this, right? You have your body, that's the physical material part of you, but then there's the self. That's your consciousness. It's the part of you that sees, that decides, that enjoys. It's the I that's in there. And this is where the difference becomes so important. The body has needs, sure, food, shelter, the basics. But the self needs completely different things. It needs happiness, trust, respect. These are feelings. Your body is really just the instrument your self uses to interact with the world.
And boom, that right there explains the whole problem. A real relationship isn't between two bodies. It's between yourself and another person's self. You can give someone's body a nice meal, but you can't feed their self with it. The self only deals in feelings, like trust or respect, and no amount of stuff can ever be a substitute for that.
Okay, so that's the theory. But how does this whole self and body thing actually help us in real life? Well, it brings us to maybe the most powerful tool in this whole framework, a completely new way of looking at trust.
Now, the definition of trust here is super specific, and I want you to pay very close attention to one word: intends. Trust isn't about being 100% sure that someone will always succeed in making you happy. It's about being sure that their fundamental intention is to want what's best for you.
Okay, this is the whole game, right here. So let's just walk through it. Look at how we see ourselves. When it comes to intention, we're totally sure. Of course I want to make myself happy. And yeah, I want to make the other person happy too. Check. But when we look at the other person, well, we're sure they want to make themselves happy. But do they want to make me happy? Suddenly there's a big question mark. And look at competence, our ability to do things. We have doubts about everyone's ability, including our own. And this, right here, is the single biggest mistake we make in our relationships. We judge ourselves based on our good intentions. We think, well, I didn't mean for that to happen. But we judge other people based on their screw-ups, their flawed competence. You always mess that up. We see their lack of ability and we mistake it for a bad intention. This example is just perfect. Listen to this. When a glass slips from your hand, what do you say? Oh, it broke by accident. It was a failure of competence, not intention. But if it slips from someone else's hand, our first thought is often, you broke the glass. We immediately jump to blaming them, doubting their intention.
Or, take this story about a guy named Suresh. He was totally crushed when his good friend just rushed right past him without saying a word. His immediate reaction was to doubt his friend's intention, thinking, what did I do wrong? But he decided to trust the intention and just check in later. And the truth? His friend was in a full-blown panic because he lost his wallet. That simple act of separating intention from competence literally saved the friendship.
So this brings us to the question that can literally change everything. If you start from a place of trust, if you truly believe the other person wants to do the right thing, how does that change your approach when they inevitably mess up?
Well, you basically have a fork in the road. If you trust their intention, your brain goes into a constructive response mode. You think, okay, they meant well. How can I help them get better at this? But if you doubt their intention, you have a destructive reaction. You get irritated, you get angry, you feel like they're against you, and the relationship takes a hit.
And what's so cool about this is that this whole framework of intention versus competence, it's not just about trust. Let's see how it completely changes the way we think about another huge feeling, respect.
So this leads to a definition of respect that's so simple, it's kind of brilliant. Respect isn't about admiring someone or putting them on a pedestal, it's simply right evaluation, seeing a person for who they truly are. Anything else, any evaluation that isn't accurate, is actually a form of disrespect.
Think about it, right? When we over-evaluate someone, calling them a genius for something simple, we can inflate their ego. When we under-evaluate them, telling them they're worthless, it can lead to depression. And when we otherwise evaluate them, just plain old name-calling, that's just humiliation. None of these are accurate, and they're all disrespectful.
And when we make these kinds of wrong evaluations, what happens? We start to differentiate. We create these divisions and hierarchies based on things like age or race, wealth or position, or what someone believes. This isn't respect, it's discrimination. And you can see how this way of thinking is at the heart of so many problems, from fights at the dinner table to wars between nations.
So what is true respect then? It's seeing that, at the level of the self, the other person is fundamentally just like you. They have the same basic purpose, to be happy. They have the same potential. The only place you're different is in your skills, your competence. And that's where you become complementary, where you can actually help each other out.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. How do we actually do this? How do we put it all together? Well, it all leads to a really clear, actionable plan for building way more fulfilling relationships.
It's really a three-step process, and the key is that it all starts with you. You can't just demand trust or respect from other people. Step 1, you have to really understand what these feelings are. Step 2, you work on making sure you have that feeling inside yourself based on that understanding. And only then, step 3, can you genuinely share it with someone else, which leads to happiness for both of you. It's a total shift from expecting to giving.
And that leaves us with one last really powerful question to think about. I want you to pick a recent argument or a misunderstanding you had with someone. Now, replay that whole thing in your head, but with one new rule. You have to operate from the unshakable belief that the other person's intention was good, they just didn't have the skill, the competence to pull it off. What changes? How does your own feeling shift? How might your response have been different? The answer to that, well, that just might be the key to everything.